Look, the Mueller report is done, but what I want to know is where this goes next, because as you know, as you've reported and told us many times, the FBI was working on two investigations side by side. One investigation was about potential collusion between Donald Trump and the Russians, which we knew all along was nonsense. And the other investigation was looking into Hillary Clinton and her use of emails. And the FBI wanted to charge her with gross negligence, but they were told don't do it, right?
Well, there's all sorts of issues with the Clinton campaign arm. One of the things that I think is still out there, or not the Clinton campaign arm, but the Clinton operation as it relates to the destruction of those emails. I mean, clearly there were multiple crimes broken there. It's a two-tiered justice system. It's not right. And it's why, look, it's why the new Attorney General Barr, he's got a lot of cleanup to do over there, but I do have a lot of confidence in him. I really do. I think he's going to be able to get it done.
So do you think that another investigation is going to start looking into Hillary Clinton, given the fact that she did exhibit gross negligence in terms of emails, classified documents, and then, of course, a lot of people say that that's really where the Russia collusion was. After all, the Clinton campaign paid for the dossier. They used Russian sources to find dirt on Donald Trump. She did sell a portion of the U.S.'s stockpile of uranium, and her foundation got $148 million. I mean, that's real money. She got it from a Russian company, and her husband made a speech in Moscow and got $500,000. All of this was ignored as the mainstream media tripped over themselves to say it was Donald Trump and not her. I mean, it's pretty incredible that during a campaign you had one candidate with real ties to Russia, the other having zero, and yet it's the other that gets in the headlines of collusion.
Yeah, and not only that, but they investigated the Trump campaign for exactly what the Clinton campaign was doing. Supposedly they were looking into the Trump campaign because they were worried that Russians were infiltrating and giving dirt to the Trump campaign on Clinton, when in fact they knew right in front of their very eyes they had Clinton campaign dirt that they were supposedly getting from Russians. And Christopher Steele, who was the hired gun of the Clinton campaign arm, that was running around in London somewhere, supposedly talking to Russians. We don't know, but the FBI was willing to take that information and never go do a counterintelligence investigation on Christopher Steele. Maybe Christopher Steele was a compromised Russian agent. We don't know, but this is criminal what the media didn't do. And just this morning, just read a story that Christopher Steele, lo and behold, he showed up. Finally, somebody in the media tracked him down in London. There's a new picture of him because, he's been in hiding for all this time. Now, you're telling me that every major news media outlet, including many over in London, it's a big economic center of the world. You cover it on your show quite often.
Yeah.
And are you telling me that no one could find Christopher Steele to ask him questions about what was going on with the dossier? Because, as you know, he was referred by the Senate. He had a criminal referral to the Senate for lying. If you look at our investigation, we invited him to come and speak. He never would come and speak. And then, lo and behold, after Mueller comes out and basically completely debunks the dossier, it's completely debunked now. The Clinton dirt is debunked. And now suddenly the media has time to go and track down Christopher Steele. I mean, what a joke.
Right. Let me ask you about the Mueller report and whether or not you believe it should be made public. William Barr says he is going to make it available. A lot of people are calling for it in the next week. Of course, the Democrats, that's their new big outrage. They are ignoring the contents of the Mueller report and what we just found, and instead going toward, well, we want to see the whole report. Where do you sit on that? Mm-hmm.
Well, I actually think I was the first member of Congress to say that all of the information needs to come forward. So I don't really care about the report specifically because I think the report should just be burned because it's partisan. And it should be looked at a lot like the Christopher Steele Clinton dirt dossier. I mean, this is really Mueller's dossier is what this is, okay? So it was written by a bunch of partisans. However, there were a lot of interviews that were done. There were a lot of warrants that were issued. There's a lot of underlying information that could hypothetically fill in blanks to our investigation that I would like to see. But in terms of, I don't think people should put a lot of confidence in the intricacies of the Mueller report, because if you look at the Mueller indictments, they read like Russian spy novels. But at the end of the day, that was used on purpose to hurt the American people and hurt those people, make it sound like those people were Russian agents.
Congressman, stay with us. We want to get more on those criminal referrals and your lawsuit against Twitter.